All right, so in this video, like I said at the end of the last video, I want to go over some of the helpful features that are included along with Ggmap. The first of these is called geocode. Geocode takes essentially an address and converts it into latitude and longitude. And again, this is through Google, so you can give it really any description that you would put into a Google map to try and get a location. So I could say geocode, and then the address you give it as a string. So if we did Fort Lee, Virginia, and then run that, it's going to give me a longitude and a latitude for Fort Lee. We can do the same thing for the White House. So we get negative 77.0 and 38.9. All right, and again, like it'll tell you if it's got some ambiguity in the search results. So in this case, it found the right one. Not always the case, but I have found that it's pretty good at figuring out exactly what you want. All right, now we've gone over like how to get latitude and longitude. But what if you want, like, I mean, say you're mailing a letter to somebody and you want to know what the zip code is. So you can use some of the arguments, and the specific argument that we're going to use to geocode is output. So if I said, say I'm mailing a letter to, I spent a summer in Middlebury College, Vermont. So I'm going to say Middlebury College. And instead of just the, I think it's the simple output is the default, we can go, or maybe it's lat long. We can say I want more. So output we set equal to more, and then run that and see what it gives us. And so now I get not only the longitude, latitude, but I get the type, whatever that means, and then an address. All right. And then if I wanted even more information, I can set output equal to all. So if we run this exact same line of code, but for output, I select all, it's going to give me a JSON file with basically all the information it has on that location. All right. So if I wanted to get, maybe pull some zip codes out, let me try to find it here. So here's a reference to the zip code, and that's in $results, blah, blah, blah. Let's see if they have like the actual zip code somewhere. There you go. So if we pull this attribute out of the geocode results, then that should give us just the zip code. All right, actually, let me see if something will work. It's always fun when you do live coding in front of people, right? So if I store this as a variable all, and then I say all, and I ask for that specific result, all right, and then it gives me just the zip code from that JSON object. So geocode's a really helpful feature to have. I mean, you can find any address, you can get the lat long for a location, and like I said, all you're Googling is or you're just searching on a string. All right, you've also got this function rev geocode or reverse geocode. So what that's going to do is take the latitude, longitude, and convert it into a physical address. So if I were to, first of all, get the geocode for Fort Lee, Virginia, right? Let me save that as a object. So we'll save that as the object GC. And then with that object, I'm just going to convert it to numeric to make sure that I get numeric type results, because that's what rev geocode prefers. So we go as numeric of GC, and then if I did reverse geocode of GC, which right now, just to show you, let's take a look at what that equals. So that's negative 77.33 and 37.24. So if I did a reverse geocode, then it would tell me that's rear access road at Fort Lee, Virginia 23801. Okay, another thing that's really fun is the map distance feature. So it's this function mapDist, and mapDist will provide distances by default for driving time, but you can also do bicycling and walking in between two locations. And the output is a data frame. So of course you can call certain things out of the data frame and use them in further analysis. MapDist takes vectors as its input, and it needs a from and a to vector. And then, like I said, it provides a data frame as the output. So I'm going to create 2 vectors here. The first one from, and from is going to be Fort Lee, Virginia, because we're going to get distances from Fort Lee to other locations. So we'll do Fort Lee. Then 2, so this my second vector will be Fort Bragg, Carolina, Galesburg, Illinois. That's where I'm from. We can do just Paris. All right, so then we call the MapDist function, and the 2 vectors that we give it are from and to. And I don't know why there's a problem here. It may be because, let's see, must be 1D or 2D objects. So let's try to change Paris to Chicago, Illinois. I don't know if that was the thing that was causing the problem. It looks like it was. For whatever reason, it didn't like Paris. But now when we search on Fort Lee to those other 3 locations, it gives you the total number of miles. So it looks like Fort Lee to Fort Bragg, or no, that's total number of meters. So that's like 300,000 meters or something like that. Kilometers, and then it gives you the mileage. So Fort Lee to Fort Bragg looks like 199 miles. And then Fort Lee to Galesburg, which that looks correct. And then it also gives you, for driving time, the seconds, minutes, and hours. And like I said, you can add additional arguments in there and change that from driving to walking or whatever you wanted to do, but it'll just give you the distance, right? All right, and so the last thing that I'm going to talk about, and I was going to go through this as kind of an exercise with you guys, but I'm going to leave it to you to kind of work through first, and then I'll let you take a look at the way that I did the results. But I have this little exercise here, which it says enrich the ITSM data, and the ITSM data is IT service metrics. So that's in your class folder for today. There's a file called ITSD, and that's the IT service desk. And that's got a bunch of Army enterprise tickets, and this is made up data, so it's non-FOUO. And what I want you to do is I want you to take that data and enrich it by NEC location using one of the utility functions that we just talked about. And then with this consolidated sort of data frame that's got the lat long locations for the NECs, I want you to create a density plot for tickets open as of some date in the data set. All right, so go ahead and try that. And then what I'll have you do is take a look at either the R Markdown file or the PDF that are both in your folder. If you're looking at the R Markdown file, this exercise begins on line 512, and you can see my effort to try and work through this problem. But go ahead and try it on your own, and then take a look at the proposed solution, and then let me know if you have any questions. All right, and this is where I'm going to leave off with Ggmap. The next thing that we'll discuss will be a different type of mapping package, and that will be the leaflet package. All right, thanks.